Hey friends, this is Rick Renner, and I'm in an airport. Denise is sitting at another table, and our associate in the association, we're flying to a church in Voronezh, which is pretty far from Moscow. But today, before we left, I wanted to give you the next part of spiritual warfare. We've been looking at Ephesians 6:10, finally my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Then you come to the next verse and it says, put on the whole armor of God. I have heard so many teachings over the year about how to put on the armor of God. And some say you got to get up every morning, you got to put on your shoes, put on your breastplate, put on. But let me ask you something, just truthfully, logically, do you think that physically going through all those motions actually puts armor on you? No. In fact, the word put on is the word enduo, the same word translated power in verse 10. The word enduo, it means to be clothed, to be imbibed with power. And the whole idea is this. When you receive the power of God, when you receive an endowment of power, the word put on, the Greek word enduo, which means power, placed inside you. When the power of God comes on you and comes in you, it puts something on you. The power itself begins to dress you in the armor of God. So your ability to walk in spiritual weaponry depends on whether or not you are walking in the power of God. Because the day that you become disconnected from the power of God is the day you cease to walk in spiritual weaponry. When you put on power, when you're imbibed with power from on high, endued with power, clothed with power, that power hits your head and puts a helmet on your head. It hits your chest and puts on you a breastplate. It gives you a loin belt of truth. From the top all the way to the bottom, that power literally clothes you. And one of the best examples of this is Jesus himself. Jesus lived in Nazareth all of his life. And the whole time he lived in Nazareth, in the first 30 years, there was never a demonic reaction. No demon ever screamed that I knew you. But after Jesus was baptized in the Holy Spirit at the River Jordan, he came home. Physically, he looked the same. But now when he walked down the very same streets he always walked down, demons began screaming, I know who you are. You're the Holy One of God. Something about Jesus looked different after he was baptized in the Holy Spirit at the River Jordan. When that power hit Jesus, it clothed him spiritually. And when Jesus came walking home, those demons in his town didn't just see a man, but they saw someone dressed in the whole armor of God. In the spirit realm, Jesus looked different. So if you're in the power of God, if you're filled with the Holy Spirit, then you are automatically dressed in the weaponry of God. If you're not filled with the Holy Spirit, if you're away from the Lord, then you can't claim this. Because this weaponry comes as a result of being clothed and being filled with the Holy Spirit. Now, I bet you that was new for you today. But when we come back tomorrow, we're going to talk about the whole armor. What is the whole armor of God? But I think that for today, that's enough for you to think about.